awesome stuff. Throughout the day, or throughout the match that we just watched, RLF, their best squad. It's going to, include Limitless there. We got Trin, Pikey, and Lau. No surprise there, right? It looked like they had pretty even kills across the board. Now remember, this is like, oh, dude, we've seen, matches today or games today where they've had upwards 70, 80 kills, and you're like, well, they've got like 20.
That's a lot of kills.
It's a lot of kills in like 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of kills for a short map, especially from an entire squad. This is definitely going to be one of your aggro assault squads, I would assume. So very well done. This is going to be our best squad of the match. And I'm really impressed with this RLF squad. I think on paper, from what we saw today, surprises for me, I felt like RLF and then TL are the top two teams on paper. Yeah, they looked the strongest at least. Not necessarily going to be the case. We won't necessarily see them in finals, but they feel the strongest right now. So I'll be curious to see if they're able to carry that momentum forward, if they're still going to be the same team tomorrow and the next day and the next day. This is a marathon tournament. You got to show up every single time you're on stage playing the best game that you can possibly play if you want to be the champion of DFIW. But Vivid, I think that's all that we have, for us at least, in the booth. We're going to have a chance to hear from the host and our players down on the stage here shortly. So any final words from the broadcast from you, man? This is a great, almost 10-hour show.
Yeah, absolutely stoked, right? I think day number one went very, very smoothly. Thank you to all of, the people at home that watched. Thank you to all of the players, down on the stage, giving it their all, and thank you to everybody kind of involved in putting the show on today. Very excited to be back again tomorrow for pretty much the same rundown. 4 more matches tomorrow. Very, very excited to see how it all plays out. I feel like tomorrow will be big in terms of telling a story to see how the rest of the week will go. Excited for it.
Yeah, and chat, I'm telling you, man, we gotta hear from you all in chat about your predictions. Now you know some of the teams. Maybe some of the teams you didn't understand. Yeah. Now you know. We're gonna hear some of your predictions tomorrow, and I think our predictions might shore up a little bit as well now that we've seen the caliber of teams here on main stage. But we've got our amazing host down on the stage. That's all from us here in the booth. Let's head down to the stage to hear from our host and our players from RFL to see what they have to say about their dominating win. We will see you tomorrow.
Các bạn thân mến, hãy cùng quay trở lại với sân khấu lớn để cùng đến với phần phỏng vấn sau trận đấu cuối cùng. Như vậy là chúng ta đã khép lại ngày thi đấu đầu tiên của giải đấu năm nay với rất nhiều những diễn biến hấp dẫn và 4 cái tên sẽ xuất hiện tại nhánh thắng bao gồm DNI, Tanglong, Tostido NXG và Rapid Lo-Fi. Cùng với đó thì 4 đại diện sẽ phải tiếp tục đối đầu ở nhánh thua và sẽ phải chiến đấu hết mình nếu như không muốn phải rời khỏi giải đấu sớm, bao gồm 4 cái tên Project One, RIQ, Seven Sins, No Mercy và Hostile Response. That wraps up the opening day of Delta Fox Invitational 2025 Warfare, and we have 4 representatives appear in the winning bracket, including the team DNI, Tanglong, Tostido NXG, and Rabbit Lo-Fi. And we have 4 representatives who face up to avoid going home early, including Project One, RIQ, Seven Sins, No Mercy, and Hostile Response. Và bây giờ thì hãy cùng chúng tôi đến với phần phỏng vấn cho trận đấu cuối cùng để chúc mừng cho đội thắng cuộc trong trận đấu này, đó chính là Rabbit Lo-Fi. Và hãy cùng xem là Quavi đang cảm thấy như thế nào sau chiến thắng này nhé. Standing next to me right now is Quavi from Rabbit Lo-Fi. And right now, let's head into the final post-match interview today. Xin chào Quavi. Bạn có thể chia sẻ ngay cảm xúc lúc này khi mà có được chiến thắng đầu tiên của đội mình tại giải đấu năm nay hay không?
Trước khi chia sẻ cảm xúc thì em xin được gửi lời cảm ơn đến các nhà tài trợ AMD, Gamer cũng như Garena và ban tổ chức đã tổ chức cho một cái sự kiện hoành tráng như thế này. Và hiện tại thì cảm xúc của đội em cũng như riêng em rất là vui.
He just said, we just asked about his feelings for the first winning of today's tournament. He also say, I would like to say thank you to all the sponsors and all of the organizers for holding this kind of big event so that we can have a chance to compete, and we are so happy to be here today.
Wow, phải nói rằng là có rất là nhiều cảm xúc lẫn lộn lúc này đúng không? Khi mà họ đã có thể vượt qua được một trận đấu mà phải nói rằng họ có một chiến thắng rất là nhanh. Thế thì nhìn lại trận đấu này, đâu là khoảnh khắc mà Quavi cảm thấy là hài lòng nhất?
From this very match, which one is the most memorable moment for your team?
Cảm xúc mà em cảm thấy hài lòng nhất của đội mình là đẩy ra farm đội kia như farm bot.
So he was just satisfied of every single moment of that, but the most memorable moment was just like when the moment they realized that they are going to win the game, and that would be a remarkable moment for the team.
Chúng ta sẽ cùng gác lại trận đấu ngày hôm nay. Khi mà mình đã có được tấm vé đi tiếp vào nhánh thắng rồi, thì đối thủ tiếp theo mà các bạn sẽ gặp đó chính là Tuxedo NXG. Bạn nghĩ sao về đối thủ này và mong chờ điều gì ở cái cuộc đối đầu này?
So your next component is going to be Tuxedo NXG. What are you looking forward to the match, and what do you expect from the next match?
Mọi người đều biết là Tuxedo là một ứng cử viên vô địch, nhưng mà em nghĩ là ngày mai tụi em vẫn sẽ làm khó được họ.
Right. Everyone knows Tuxedo is a strong component, and everyone is voting for the champion for Tuxedo, but we are going to make them feel a little bit difficult for tomorrow match.
Vâng, và chắc chắn là những fan hâm mộ của Việt Nam thì cũng sẽ mong chờ điều đó trong trận thi đấu này. Vậy thì cuối cùng, bạn có một lời nhắn nhủ nào đó muốn gửi tới những khán giả hâm mộ, những người đã và cũng sẽ tiếp tục ủng hộ cho Rapid Lo-Fi trong những trận đấu sắp tới hay không?
What are you going to say to all the fans out there who always support and vote for the team?
Em xin được gửi lời cảm ơn tới tất cả những bạn đang xem trên sóng trực tiếp. Một lời cảm ơn chân thành nhất, cảm ơn đã ủng hộ Rapid Lo-Fi.
From the bottom of my heart, I would like to say thank you to all the fans who always support us and our team. Thank you so much.
Vâng, những cảm xúc rất là tuyệt vời và một lần nữa xin được chúc mừng cho Rapid Lo-Fi với một chiến thắng phải nói là rất áp đảo. Và chắc chắn là họ sẽ mang lại những cảm xúc tuyệt vời hơn nữa ở trong những trận đấu sắp tới. Và các bạn khán giả thân mến, xin được cảm ơn Khoa Vi với phần phỏng vấn sau trận đấu vừa rồi. Và một lần nữa xin được cảm ơn các bạn khán giả đã đồng hành cùng với chúng tôi trong ngày thi đấu đầu tiên của Delta Fox Invitational 2025 Warfare. Và hy vọng rằng là ngày thi đấu ngày mai chúng ta sẽ được tiếp tục theo dõi những trận đấu với rất nhiều những diễn biến bất ngờ, nơi mà không điều gì có thể đoán trước. Còn bây giờ thì xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn vào ngày mai. That wraps up the opening day of Delta Fox Invitational 2025 Warfare with a lot of thrilling matches today, and we believe that surprise will keep going tomorrow, so please don't miss it. Goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow.
No retreat. Strike back and take our objective. This is our final stand. We must defend the position at all costs.
Full health. The usual, and really, again, my big question mark is how much value can that heli get? Here we go, folks. It's threshold time. If you have forgotten, you'll have a chance to with our tournament spectator. If the player is in red, they are attacking. If the player, I don't know. I'm good for you.
Immediately kicking, and you know, listen, it's awesome to kind of look at some of these shots going over the map. Let's jump right into the action, though. Hostile response versus Rapid Lo-Fi immediately kicking things off. The tank destroyer is going to be trying to ram right up the staircase and break apart the building. I was just about to mention, right? We were looking at some of those shots of the map. I was just going to say that is not what the map is going to look like at all. So many of these buildings around the points are easily destructible, and we're immediately seeing that point made.
Good grief. Hostile response coming in with a quick set of pace. Good golly, they flew at this map. They blew the wall open, lost a vehicle in transition doing it, but we do have a vehicle off start on the point getting active. This is one of the only maps that you'll see, because it's a shorter map, where the defense and the offense both start with a vehicle. Now, we don't have, it looks like we don't have the helicopter yet here in Victory Unite, but we do have an attacking vehicle still alive right now on the ground. It's a tank destroyer, where I believe it was a lob, if I saw that correctly, for the defensive side. It's going to be playing back by that bridge that we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's very, really cool to see and tune into some of these competitions already because I've seen a lot of the times the defensive side will actually sneak up to these boxes just like this. As you can see, Grab Hex picking up a lot of eliminations from the side there on the head blitz. That sneaky spot that you can actually take control of if you have control of the bridge. That bridge right there on the left side of your screen, that's the one me and Goj were talking about in preparation for this match. And as you can see right now, from the attacking side of things, Hostile Response has zero investment towards that side of the map. I cannot imagine this attack is going to go well for them if they do not try to get some stakehold over there towards that bridge.
Yeah, a couple Seneva operators facing off, trying to open up some sort of visual cover for their team. We got some anti-take mines on the backside for Green, just to make sure. But listen, I might be mistaken here. Did Hostile Response choose a tank destroyer over a helicopter?
There it is.
Is that the play, or is the helicopter just late to the party? Okay, heli's late to the party. All right, I was a bit confused for a moment. Everything's fine. We will see the helicopter as expected. Tank destroyer and a helicopter is nice. Tank destroyer a little bit weak there, but getting the repairs in. Engineers nearby. So far, so good. Helicopter getting into the mix and see how much value it gets. Obviously, the defense have a lob, so they can fight this helicopter out of the skies if they're paying attention. Take a look at Kobayashi, their commander, setting the objective already on just holding A. That timer collapses. They will get that extra score. We've got to see what this helicopter could do, though.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know, looking towards the bottom of the screen, the helicopter is not in commission right now. I'm not sure if it got blown up. Sometimes we've seen some weird things where, one, they'll take the helicopter spawn late, kind of throw off the defensive side of things, right? Like, kind of like make them forget about it as an option. And sometimes they'll land it and kind of keep it safe in some instances. So I'm not entirely sure if it got, you know, destroyed, if they're kind of holding on to it. But, dude, seriously, for Hostile Response, they've got to change something up. They cannot flood in here. It's literally like shooting fish in a barrel for the defensive side of things right now. If you're only going into one checkpoint towards this hill.
It looks like they're literally ramming their faces against a brick wall, and it's not paying off. Look at this angle that the defensive side has. This could be detrimental. It's actually going to force the tank destroyer up onto the point to make sure it doesn't go down. I have absolutely no clue what happened to that helicopter. We'll try to get a read on it. So, the assault vehicle has zero chance of staying alive. Not like the lob shooting down range, blows up the pieces. Tank destroyer forced onto the point. Nice, because they can get aggressive. Bad news if it goes down. So far, decently healthy, and they're getting nice value on the point. They're trading blows and keeping it in the neutral ground as of current.
Yeah, absolutely. The brute force tactic actually working out right. They were actually working on the point, working on capturing it for a little bit there, but Rapid Lo-Fi able to kind of bounce back, take control over the point once again, and you know, that being said, Hostile Response does still have some men over in the building that are kind of claiming some sort of a stakehold, but the point goes in favor of Rapid Lo-Fi once again.
Wow, talk about a nice hold from the defensive side. Again, it feels like our attack's just kind of slamming their head against the brick wall that is the exterior of this courtyard, and they've only been able to get onto the point once. Found okay value, but almost lost their tank destroyer in transition. Here's another push. Tank destroyer gets onto the point, gets active. Several players there. Looks like we've got urgent deployment time active for the attackers, so they're trying to get extremely aggressive. Gee whiz, Vivid, we're less than 5 minutes in, and we're already down to 114 tickets. We've lost 66 tickets over the course of less than 5 minutes. Talk about head against a brick wall. Not going well for the attackers here. Like we said, high level threshold. Point A is not a gimme. This is a difficult point on this map, if not executed correctly. Helicopter back into the mix. Take a look. Finally, we get eyes on the sky. Let's see what they're able to do with it.
Yeah, and actually already seeing them kind of lighten the kill feed up very, very early on after they went ahead and took claim to that. But as we can see right now, right, an instant turn of attention, making sure that they try to invest as much as possible into destroying that helicopter. It can put down some serious damage if it is left unattended to. Helicopter doing a great job of using the building to go ahead and hide.
Yeah, and also doing a great job of pulling the fire from the lob. Our defensive vehicle, the only defensive vehicle on the map right now, can't look at the point where two attacker vehicles are swarming the point, and because of that, we're seeing a lot of value from the attack. Finally, the helicopter showcasing part of its true value. Should see some shots connect here. No! All right. A little bit of snaking, a little bit of dip, dive, duck, and dodging here with the helicopter. Oh! Okay, I lost my breath there for a moment. We're still alive. Got a little bit too fancy. And now we somehow didn't capture this point. Barely alive, but down goes another vehicle. Down goes another attacker vehicle. We've lost tank destroyer. We've lost assault vehicle. We are down to just the helicopter, and we didn't get the point. This is bad news if you're an attacking player.
Yeah, I mean, the flood is coming in from Rapid Lo-Fi as well, and if you take a look at the tickets, the damage has already been done. Down to 90 tickets in just 6 minutes in this match right now. This is already a win for Rapid Lo-Fi when you take a look at the grand scheme of things. So far, the helicopter has been able to stay alive, but the focus that is coming in, it's really, really hard for it to find any value now.
I actually liked the all-in from the attacking side. When the helicopter was on the map, they knew the lab was going to have to pay attention to the skies, and it opened up both of their vehicles to get to the point. The problem is they just didn't have enough infantry supports to actually take it. The defense somehow outslayed them and blew up both of their vehicles on point without giving the point away. That's more of a tip of the cap to RLF's ability as opposed to a sell necessarily from HR.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, you can see just the lack of interest by HR towards that left side of the map. I mean, they're basically playing with like a third of the map right now.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
They're just like stuck in this corner, and it's just easy picking seemingly for RLF.
And sometimes massing can work. Unfortunately, at this level, it's not working right now, and I think we have to have an exchanging of strategies. Like, even if this was your plan going in, you have to pivot, you have to think on your feet. And I think them not changing strategies right now is a huge hindrance to their success. And unfortunately, because of the defense's success, they've called in a tank. Bad news. We've got a Lav on the ground looking to the skies, and now, even if the attackers get more vehicles on the ground, there's a tank that's just paying attention to the ground. Bad news if you're an attacker. You might be stiffed at the line. You might be stuck on point A.
Yeah, I mean, slowly as this match continues on and on, even if they go ahead and capture A right now, the push towards the following sectors is going to be quite tough. The lack of vehicles for hostile response outside of that helicopter that is all but, sanctioned to behind a couple of buildings. It cannot get any value towards the point at all right now. So they basically have 0 vehicles. If you take a look at the contestation kind of coming in from the attacking side, yeah, it looks like they're capturing it. But if you actually take a look at the point, there's only like 2 members on the point. So as soon as the defense kind of is made aware of this, they'll just put bodies on the point and they'll start to capture it again.
Urgent deployment as well from the attacker side. So they're just trying to stack bodies. This is not their last effort, but it's probably the penultimate one. Look how much value Bino 96 and Lauer getting in that tank. That was like 7 kills around the point, and they've completely obliterated anything red around point A. They're going to entirely retake this point and likely hold them at the line. What a way to start off this match thus far. Here's maybe one of the last-ditch efforts coming in from a tank destroyer onto the point. The problem is they're losing a lot of life as the tank is getting mixy and is connected on a couple of shells. They have a clear advantage, and they're trying to capitalize on it.
I mean, I won't lie, from Louis right there. Oh, wow. The Lua rocket comes in from Pikey towards the end there to pick up the destruction of the tank destroyer on Lue. But I was going to go ahead and mention, Lue was on point A in that tank destroyer from the attacking side of things. If you took a look around him, there was 0, absolutely 0 members of his team around him. That's how disconnected it looks like for hostile response right there. There is no cohesion going on at all.
35 lives, folks. This map is moving quicker than any other map we've seen thus far. We're at just barely under 10 minutes of game time, and we are nearing the end of this game in theory. Hostile response has time for essentially one more big push. We're not seeing the amount of medics that we expected to see, or at least not seeing them being able to pick up revives. The question is, how do you utilize your helicopter effectively? And another vehicle comes in for the attack, but guess what? The defense is ready. They know the wind condition. They have the advantage. They are never letting a vehicle hit the ground, not when they have such a clear advantage like this.
Yeah, as of right now, I'm very, very happy. Big smile on my face that I went ahead and predicted a 2-0 for Rapid Lo-Fi, because we are edging closer and closer to that coming to fruition. Another vehicle called in. I think that one actually made it to the ground, so maybe a little bit of momentum can start for a hostile response, but it's all but too late. 17 tickets remaining. We're 11 minutes in, Ghosh.
Yeah, it's just too bad. I mean, we had RLF a little bit on their back foot. You're forcing them to one position the map. I can love the strategy, but it was somewhat working. It's just taking way too long. Defense has been just tacking up score over and over and over again, and now they got a tank destroyer, a tank. and a lob on the map. I mean, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to compete with that firepower? Certainly not with the 1 or 2 vehicles you have on the ground. I mean, they got an assault vehicle, not going to do anything. Helicopter doing nice tricks in the sky, seeing a couple kills go its way. It drew aggro, but yet again, here's the thing. Down goes another attacker vehicle. Here's the thing about a heli. It is so powerful if it has backup on the ground and drawing fire. The assault on the ground has to match the helicopter's power in the sky, or you're getting 0 value out of somebody up in the air, and you're just down in numbers, folks. We got 2 lives remaining. RLF look impenetrable. They look unstoppable, and they drop a perfect game 1. RLF go 1-0 in the series to start.
I mean, that was just insane from RLF. They had control of the entire map to win the defensive side. You know, you really only need to control sector A or, you know, any of
There's around to
an awkward start to this match. It can't be a strategy. It just can't be.
What is happening right now? Are they BMing a bit? Like, are they just being like, we are the better team, we're not going to move for the first 2 minutes of the game?
That would be crazy.
That would be insane. I'm trying to look. I mean, we are on land. I guess we can look around a bit. I don't know. I'm just going to hang out.
I mean,
it does. I saw. Okay, I'll shout out our chatters while we're hanging out here. I don't know what's going on. Lally said this looks like operations.
It looks like operations. Man.
I am getting word. I am getting word. I believe there's going to be a reset here, so we're going to take a look at the stage and get that reset. I was about to say, man, that would have been the craziest ego play. Be like, yeah, we're just not going to move. You can take our vehicles. We don't care. We're not going to move for the first 3 minutes. Quick reset here, folks. No worries. I think we're just going to get a quick reset there. Probably something going on. We'll try to get word on what it was, but either way you look at it, got to make sure everything's perfectly fair on land. Make sure everything's ready to go. It looks like there was some sort of mishap going on. So quick reset. We'll be right back into the game as soon as possible. But we did see a helicopter spawn immediately, so that does confirm our suspicions. We knew that was the case.
Yeah, it was like,
but HR made me question it because they didn't use it for the first like 3 minutes or so.
Yeah. It is kind of like one of those things where I think it's like mind games or something, right? Like where you don't want them to think about the helicopter, so you don't use it for like a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm in a helicopter. But
well, yeah, and you also don't want to be surprised by the AA gun on the lob of just getting fried out of the air right when you take to the skies.
Yeah.
So something else to consider. But all right, sweet. Well, we got a little bit of a moment here. We're gonna reset, get the players back in. But all right, Vivid. Let's see. I think looking at this matchup, the last thing we can kind of talk about here is, you know, RLF's history again. I think for those that maybe missed it, you take a look at RLF team, you know, some of these squads, a lot of these squads, they submitted some information of like, hey, you should know this about us. You know, we of course know where they got to this stage, like how they got here through the qualifying stage. But a lot of these teams, including HR, called themselves underdogs.
yeah.
RLF is not one of those teams. They said Rapid Lo-Fi is one of the favorites in this tournament. So they know they're one of the best teams. They're coming in with a bit of an ego in a good way.
Yeah.
They know they're one of the best, and they've got the stats to prove it. Again, to remind you, this is the team that through their qualifying run, group stages, playoffs, finals, did not drop a single game. So the likelihood of them dropping a game, quarterfinals here on LAN, maybe a bit higher than the regional competition.
Yeah.
But it's not looking like it's going to be the case. They're looking near perfect at this point.
Yeah, I mean, after game number 1, right, kind of already proven why they were undefeated, a strong hold from them. Again, you know, you got to kind of think about it as well. It's a late game for them, right? When we think about the times of the matches, it's kind of late, right?
See the strategy that they utilize on the map that they were given. And
that operations.
this stuff here in Vietnam.
Couple of players kind of invested right outside of this building, and they're kind of in that state of like pausing, right? Kind of waiting for some sort of attack to happen somewhere else. The helicopter is going to be parachuting people in. The flank is instantly going to be a part of the attack. Oh my, and that's
Such a clean execution of point A. Everything worked flawlessly. The patience of the split, waiting for the flank, parachuting people in, heli in the sky. Already point A is falling to the attack, and I can't imagine they don't take this point instantly at the beginning of this map. We are 1 minute and 12 seconds in, and A is already in the neutral zone.
You know, we were kind of talking about the importance of the bridge. There's like 6 people from HR, right? The adjustment came in. They're actually towards the bridge over there. And right now, with this current strategy that Rapid Lo-Fi just did, it meant literally nothing right there for them. And with that being said, the vehicle position is going to have to be invested here from hostile response. But right around the backside of it, look, the tank destroyer is going to look to destroy this vehicle now that it's on the point.
Yeah, I love this play from RLF. They're able to swing in and match the vehicle on the point. They have the stronger vehicle in 1v1. We're forcing the loft back. It is literally on 1 HP and it goes down. RLF are unstoppable and they are counterattacking at the perfect moment. This is high-level warfare and great communication. Already, point A falls. 12 lives, 2 minutes. Bada bing, bada boom. We have won the tiebreaker. We have not won the match yet. Got to get to the finish line.
Blink and you might have missed it. A day and night difference between the attacks that we just saw between Game 1 and Game 2. Rapid Lo-Fi just look absolutely locked in. They had an answer to the answer of hostile response. As soon as that, push came back in from the defense, they instantly, rolled the vehicles in themselves and were able to go ahead and conquer this. I don't think I've ever seen this, by the way. The tank destroyer is on top of the tent.
Can you just close your eyes, pedal to the metal, and sneak through? Dude, I swear, we have watched so much warfare. I have not seen that, and maybe I'm missing something, but that should not have fit. I mean, hey, well done. They've, a play, and they're able to come around the backside, clear out some barricades, and make a play towards the point. Again, B1, B2, we will then end at C1 and C2. So far, so good as they make an entryway on the backside, looking to actually approach maybe B2 first by the looks of it. We'll keep our eyes peeled, though. The other big question is I want to see if we could maybe pay attention back to that helicopter again and see who's flying it. I wonder if it's one of our subs.
Yeah, good shot right there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I will say, though, at some point during the transition between the 2 points, we did lose a vehicle on the defensive side of things. So, they've kind of lost their firepower in that regard. And because of that, we can see the attack onto B1 is going to happen quite quickly.
And Koba in one of the vehicles, that's going to be their commander. It does look like, oh, interesting. So it's actually new pilot that is the pilot. Now that does make sense. That's nice. I should have known that was coming. Interestingly enough, that is the player that swapped squads.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why. I wonder if it's maybe just the play with the new player coming in, wanting to be on that squad 3 and kind of fill out maybe an aggressive squad that's playing either Assault or Engineer or otherwise. But new pilot taking the skies, living up to his namesake and finding the right angle. New pilot picking up 1 in transition over the top. B1 already falling to the attacking side.
Yeah, the helicopter was getting some value right there, but look at this. The B2 push is already in. They have full control over B2. Like, this looks like it's going to be captured very, very fast. The fact that we have the vehicle making sure that all of the rotations kind of coming in from the defense, they just can't happen. It's utter chaos right now on the side of HR. They have no control over any part of the map.
Also, I love this play from RLF. HR said, uh-oh, we're losing points. Urgent deployment time starts now. RLF says, we'll match you, and we're going to drop ours as well. We have the advantage. We know we have more score. If you're going to burn that resource, we will match you and still have more because of the way we're dominating this map. This is really good high IQ play from the commander.
Oh my gosh.
And we're getting so much value from this tank destroyer. This is an utter decimation. This is not even close. We're going to be moving on to C1 and C2 in less than 6 minutes.
Dude, we are on for record pace right now. Absolute domination from Rapid Lo-Fi. And yeah, I love the fact that you went ahead and pointed out kind of the the reinforcement, right? Calling that in and an immediate response to the usage out of it from the defensive side of things. Like I said, they always have an answer to the answer, it seems like right there. I mean, a Rapid Lo-Fi, they just look way too good. It'll be interesting to see how they approach C1 and C2. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get the vehicles involved, right? Because it is inside of buildings, but once again, these buildings are pretty destructible, and they're going to definitely start making quick work of all these walls, so that way the attack onto these points is made just that much easier.
Yeah, I like that call. They push for C1 first. Let's see. C1, a slightly smaller building, definitely different on the inside, but you're right, very similar on the outside. Don't be, don't be deceived here. C1 is not in the B1 building that you saw on the wall. So far, so good. Here's our first vehicle-on-vehicle battle. RLF versus HR. Who's going to get the better of their opponent? 2 tank destroyers. RLF smartly backs up, and then we get some assistance from the heli over the top. They know they have an advantage, and we push back out. Perfectly executed. Should see a win here. The engineers doing everything they can to keep it alive with helicopter in hand. This is great chemistry, great work to see our pilot and our tank destroyer working in tandem. Perfectly timed to go in and out of that fight.
That tank destroyer was actually one of the subs that we brought in for this game. That was Vitamin right there. That was making use of that tank destroyer over there. So great to see that as well. And as you can see right now, the vehicle economy for hostile response, they have nothing. And they are up against a huge lineup on the side of Rapid Lo-Fi, as Rapid Lo-Fi was making an early push towards C1, but I do believe hostile response actually responded quite well to that push, so they were not actually able to go ahead and capture that, but Koba's going to find himself back inside of that tank destroyer. So
can you believe that our first game we were like, oh my gosh, it was a 12-minute game. There is a chance this game is shorter and we go the distance. We are at 8 minutes right now, C1 in jeopardy. We finally are seeing a bit of hold here from the defense. They have to, and they've got to defend for 155 lives on these 2 points. An extremely tall task, nearly a miracle ask, especially with the amount of firepower that we have in the skies and on the ground for that RLF squad.
Look how hard the rotations are going to be to kind of just make it from your spawn to the point that you have to defend. The helicopter is going to constantly rain down and barrage. You have no answer for it. You've lost all of your vehicles. You've lost the vehicle fights. And now you're also about to lose C1. The transition, though, once again, you know what I mean? The rotation from C1 to C2 and C2 to C1 is what actually makes this point hard for attackers, because the bridges are blown up, right? So you have to go outside of the building and then enter in from one of the 3 entrances, which is one on the side, one in the front, one in the back. The one in the back usually not accessible. As I say that, though, Rapid Lo-Fi is actually flanking C2, which is essentially, the flank is only possible if you go into the spawn of the defense.
Yeah, Kobayashi just picked up like 5 with his tank destroyer that they just called in. I mean, they're getting so much. They've got 2 tank destroyers inside, just blasting anything that moves.
How do you get up here? The staircase can support this?
Yeah, look at that. You just drop off the side. I love these plays, man. Listen, I mean, the tank destroyers are pretty mobile, so you should be able to kind of sneak your way into these buildings if you want to. I know you can get into C2 as well pretty easily, actually, just through the doors. So you should see them kind of blow open the doors, give their infantry some room to work, and then likely follow them in. Here we go, Kobayashi going to play entryman in a tank destroyer. What are you going to do about it? We don't even have any mines down. We don't have anything to stop these tank destroyers from just doing whatever they want. C1 is gone. C2 about to follow.
140 tickets still remain. You were mentioning the time of this match. If somehow Rapid Lo-Fi were to capture this one quite quickly, it would literally be like a sub-11, sub-12-minute match. The rotations are kind of coming in now from C1 to C2. How much of a defense are they going to leave themselves onto C1 to make sure that the defense cannot step back in? And look at this. This is just, they're just getting everything they want
can I buy a rocket on the defensive side? Finally, I think somebody pulled one out and took some damage out on the tank destroyer. They just can't even pull the rockets up in time before they get blown to smithereens. This is unbelievable. We see an artillery strike being called in from the attacking side. RLF should see some value with this, maybe playing just on the outside of the building. You could call it straight on top of the building. There is an opening in the ceiling, but our attackers have stowed away a lot. They're gonna get into that, see what they can do with it. Still a vehicle advantage. It looks like they lost one of their tank destroyers in the chaos of C2. We are seeing a small hold here for the defense. Heli's still in the skies. Probably not getting a crazy amount of value now that they have full control over C1, but it's just about done its job. And another, I believe, tank destroyer being called in. And oh yeah. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Air superiority. Helicopter in the skies. New pilot says, no, no, no. No vehicles for you, defense. Good luck holding C2.
Gosh, it makes me want to get so much better with the helicopter. Instead of crashing into buildings, I could be blowing up all the vehicles, getting spawned in right there. Now the flank is coming in. We've seen some boots on the ground to try to make this flank. We've now seen vehicles make the flank as well. They've got to thwart out the last couple of remaining defenders, and if they are actually able to do that on C2, they have enough vehicles on top of the helicopter in the sky to make sure that none of the rotations can actually happen, and I think that's finally going to come to fruition. C2 is now being captured. It's all about whether or not Rapid Lo-Fi can cut off the rotation from the spawn over to C2 to make sure that they can go ahead and capture it. But the reinforcement is called in there. 35 seconds.
They have to.
Yeah, I mean,
the defense has to call out all stops. They just got enough score to use their urgent deployment time. That's going to be a really quick respawn for the defense. It's a nice boon to get bodies onto the point. They've got a quote-unquote small advantage they can use. The problem is the amount of vehicles on the outside of this building. I mean, you got to get a respawn beacon inside the building to even have a chance to keep bodies on the point. So far, they've been able to hold. They got to do it for the next 123 lives. Artillery's picked up 1 so far. Urgent deployment now done. I can only expect to see C2 now creep back to the attacking team, and they just put a lot right on top of this diagram.
Look at that, I like that.
Yeah, after it's over.
Yeah, earlier on they used it in response, and this one they used it after it ran out to make sure that they have the best chance of going ahead and securing C2. If you look over towards the left side of your screen, there's no green at all over there. A couple of green members lurking in C1 trying to play that tug of war game, but there's only a couple of members. One left actually in C1. The vehicles are all over C1, making sure that they defend it, while everybody boots on the ground is making sure that they try to capture C2. Look at all of the reinforcements from the defensive side, try to make it to the building, but the helicopter, the vehicles, they're cutting them off.
There's just no chance. I mean, this is just an utter slaughter. It's just unbelievable. Really well executed. I love the call out you had about the urgent deployment time. They wanted to match before. This time they use in response when they know that they can do this right here on your screen. We see a respawn beacon being thrown down here for the defense as a last-ditch effort. I don't know where it is on the map, but it's not looking like it's getting a lot of value right now because all of a sudden C2 falling to the hands of the attackers. It is inevitable at this point. Artillery barrage to add insult to injury. RLF dominate the competition, go 2-0, send HR down to the lower bracket. And for the very first time, we have gone through an entire tournament day with not a single game 3. All 2-0s, and for the first time, we were technically both right in predictions. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah, me and Goj on the same page, being correct at the same exact time. Rapid Lo-Fi, utter domination there on that we it was early on. We could see the helicopter flying around. You might be like, well, Vivid, I just saw the helicopter at the end of the game. That's right, to survive the entirety of this match, was getting value the whole time. Super hard for HR to ever find any sort of momentum.
Really cool moment there.